Assalamu alaikum students. I hope all of you are doing great. Here is your history teacher with the 8th lesson of history. Well students, I hope you are revising your previous lessons because every week we have 2 lessons, right? So I hope you all are attending your lessons, doing your worksheets, and today I am here with a new lesson. And as we had started this chapter, you guys can see that throughout the chapter we are talking about the decline of the Mughal Empire and the reasons why the Mughal Empire had declined, what was the role of the British. Well, in our previous lesson we had just discussed some of the reasons of the decline of Mughal Empire, and the biggest reason was, we can say that the British ones, when they tried to enter for trade, and after getting the permission for trade, they tried to intervene to the Indian government, right? And today we will see that how was the British successful to conquer India, because in our previous lesson we have seen that there were so many areas which got under control to the British, and today we will see that how successful were the British to conquer India. Alright, as I told you that today is our 8th lesson. So here is our topic, and if you will open your book, page number 23, you can find this topic. And I want everyone to open your books, because students, when you will not go through the book, then you cannot have a proper reading. And in our lessons, most of the time we do this in the class as well, that we discuss the important points and we highlight the important points, and the rest of the story you have to complete it by reading your book content. So that's why I always force you to have your books with you while during your lesson. So if you can, please open page number 23 from your history book and let's study this. Alright, so why were the British able to conquer India? Well students, what was the reason, or do you think that British were quite able to conquer India, or in, as you have seen in previous lessons, that like what was the strength of British, that they could conquer a huge land that was known as subcontinent or India. So we will see all these points in today's topic. So the Mughal Empire was already in decline when the British began to expand their influence in India, because when British entered in India, then the Mughals, they were already in decline, and actually British had thought at that time, when they have seen that now the Indians are not very strong, so Mughals were already in decline, and when British entered, then they have got a golden chance to rule on them, because whenever an empire or whenever a nation gets weak, then the other nations get a chance to attack on them, because on the weak time of any nation, the other strong nation easily conquer. So there was no strong uniting force in India, and there were disuniting territories, different rulers with different religion and culture, because last week we have seen that the huge provinces just like Punjab, Bengal, Bihar, Orissa, Awadh, Sindh, they all got under control of British. And now there were some of the areas where the Indian Nawabs were ruling, and now there were some of the areas where the British rulers were ruling. So there was not a uniting force, and there were different religions, because the Nawabs and the British, they all had different religion. I mean, there were Christians, there were Muslims, there were Hindus, and every person from these three religion, they all were ruling. So that's why there was no uniting force. And just to expand their territory, they fought with each other. They had many battles with each other, and whenever any battle happened, it left so many destruction behind that. So many rulers were wealthy feudal lords, allowing their states to decline through neglect rather than aiming to reform. So at that time, the Mughals or the Nawabs, who were still ruling on some areas of the subcontinent, they were just neglecting, or they were just on they were just waiting for the British that okay, we can take help from them, rather than aiming that to bring a positive reform in their areas. They just waiting for the help from British. So that was the neglecting part on the side of the Mughal emperor. Alright, now we will see that what was the strength of the British. Well students, first of all, technologically British were very strong because they had advanced weapons. So whenever they had any war, why they always won every war? Because they had great and technologically strong weapons, and it had superior weapons and means of communication, like they understand each other's language, that was English, and they had great weapons. So that's why wherever they tried to have a war, they always won the war. So British considered themselves superior to the Indians, and then they saw India as a country in stagnation and decline. Basically, the strength of the British was they considered themselves superior to all. They thought that we had great weapons, we are more in numbers, we understand our Governor General's communication, or we can communicate better than Indian rulers. So these were some kind of traits which British considered that they are superior than Indians. So there were great opportunities for the profitable trade, and a major reason for the British success in India was they always believed that they would succeed, right? So why British were so able to conquer India? Because they always had belief on them that they can succeed. So whenever you had a great faith or a great belief on you and a confidence, then whatever you do, you always win. So British had that kind of belief that whenever they go, whatever the war they will fight, they always succeed. So their political belief was that progress was inevitable. Well, they thought that the success which they got can never be end. Alright, so students, these were some kinds of British characteristics which brought the British to subcontinent, and initially for trade, and then they started intervene to Indian government, and then they started rule. So now we'll see that how was the British rule, how would they able to rule, or was that a good rule? So let's see. Although British had been to blame for much of the warfare that occurred in India, they were determined to try to do something about the impact of those wars. Alright, because British wanted to expand their territory, they wanted to expand their rule. So for that purpose, they had to conquer the territory, and to conquer the territory, they had to war, right? War with that specific Nawab or a leader on which they wanted to attack. So whenever a war happened, as I told you that it left much destruction behind that, because whenever a war happened, it caused so much killing, it caused so much destruction, and at that time there were so many buildings which Mughals had actually made, and that was really a historical culture. And there were so many monuments which had destroyed in during these wars. So law and order had broken down in many places, and warfare had damaged many of the great monuments of the past. So some areas of India had great wealth that went into pockets of the British rulers, because as I told you that Mughals, at that time Mughals were behaving just like puppets. They were not using their brain how to tackle with British or how they have to survive their empire. They just surrender to the British, and subcontinent was a rich place, and there were some of the areas which was wealthy, and when the British got control, then all that wealth went into British pockets. So the early governor generals, they actually tried to do something good for the India, and they wanted to improve the situation of the Indians. So then in the Act of 1833, they had decided that the civil service exams administering Indians can participate in that exams, and if they will deserve, they can get government jobs. But the salaries paid to the officials became part of what Indians historians have called the drain of wealth. Well, the salaries were so low, and the wealth which British took from the Indians, they were actually paying that salaries from their own wealth. So by the mid 19th century, the British were firmly established in India. Well, finally students, you can see that when we started this chapter from the introduction of Mughals, and then we had discussed the 6 famous Mughal emperors, then we had discussed Aurangzeb in detail, and we had seen that some of the invading forces who tried to conquer subcontinent, then British came for trade and they took permission. After that they started interfering in India's government, and eventually they conquered the huge provinces of India, and finally in 1834 British firmly established, right. So in the mid 19th century the British were firmly established in India. Well, in 1834 English replaced Persian as the official language of the administration, because before British the administrative language was Persian. The language which was used in court, that was actually known as the official language. So when British got control, English language replaced the Persian language, and in 1835 it was decided that the education should be in the English language. Well, the Mughals, they were not happy with this decision, because the Islamic education and the Urdu that was banished from the school, and they had said that all the syllabus and all the content of the syllabus should be in English. English subject should be compulsory in schools. So these were the changes which British actually brought when they firmly established their rule in India, right. So students, this is all for today. On Friday it would be our last lesson of this chapter, and we will revise the whole chapter, and the last part which I had left, we will discuss that one. But I request you, I humbly request you that please attend your lessons and try to solve your worksheets in time, because when you do your worksheets, then you can judge yourself, and you can make a clear situation that how much you have learned or how much your concepts are clear. Whenever you feel any difficulty, you can send me a text in your Google class, and I will definitely help you. So the worksheet which I am going to assign you. That is a 5-mark question. You have to do it in 3 levels by using the content of your book. Okay. So students, inshallah I will see you on Friday with our last lesson of this chapter. Till then, just take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.